Hello, this is Road to Recovery, and today we're going to be calling this segment Journaling in the 10th Step. I consider Step 4 and Step 10 to be the most difficult steps. In Step 4, we have to do the deep digging to get to our core issues, understanding we have the shame, anger, sadness. We have to get to the bottom of all that. The personal inventory is the building blocks for the rest of the 12 steps, and it's a grueling process. In Step 10, we continue the inventory process. But the inventory isn't for the same reasons we laid out in Step 4. If for some reason you discover new behaviors or underlying defects in your character, you can revisit Step 4 and just keep on adding to the list. Step 10 is all about self-regulation. Step 10 reads, continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admit it. At its core, Step 10 is about being honest with yourself. This is an iterative process, meaning you have to do it all the time and keep on hearing it out. It's a step where you keep doing and you never stop it. For those dealing with pornography addiction, our wrong can be both thought and deed. Certainly looking at the sexually suggestive materials could be a deliberate wrong, but what about the situations in which we find ourselves always sexually aroused? Maybe it's reading an article or a book we know is likely to be triggering, but we don't stop. Maybe it's simply thinking about a lady you saw at the gym that allowed your mind to dwell on her body. Or perhaps the wrong is a behavioral issue, like your willingness to shed friends and family and allowing yourself to be isolated. And no matter how you look at it, for addicts, that's bad news. Hopefully you've done enough digging in Step 4 that you can understand yourself and the ways that you can uphold your own self-responsibility. The difficulty in Step 10 is tracking where you have overstepped and recording your boundaries, and basically just knowing and being able to influence your behavior. It's one thing to realize you might be acting inappropriately. It's another thing to remember that you did it. Being conscious of when you screwed up is only part of the process. In my other videos, I've talked about the power of group dynamic in recovery. It's important to share with your sponsor and your recovery partners when you overstepped. It helps you and it helps them. So long story short, write it all down. When you mess up, write down what you did, write down why you did it, write down why you knew it was wrong. This is a pragmatic use of journaling. In psychology, studies have shown that writing things down helps you remember things and gives you a better chance for actually being able to recall what you've done. You don't have a drill sergeant or a nanny following you around everywhere, so your own self-policing is critical. Leveraging your journaling to help you remind yourself when you've overstepped your boundaries and make conscious effort to acknowledge that you have done so is critical. Also, take the time to think about the strategies you could have done to prevent such a situation. Perhaps you started looking at a workout videos online when you were just browsing through an exercise channel on YouTube, but you found that content triggering, but you didn't stop. What could you do when this happens again? And by the way, it's probably going to happen again. Maybe that's not that specific scenario, but just keep in mind there's always going to be triggers, perhaps ones you don't even know about yet. Perhaps just closing YouTube in that situation would have been the appropriate response, or maybe giving yourself a 2-second rule where you recognize the triggering event and move on to a non-related video. The point here is being to know your boundaries, and more importantly, knowing that you have control over the rules that's going to regulate them. Recording your lessons will help you stay on track and build mindfulness around your challenges. Well, that's all for now. This is Road to Recovery. Stay vigilant and please subscribe to this channel if you found the content helpful. Also, feel free to recommend us. I'd like to see a growing active community here. Thanks for listening.